All right, we are live. What's up, metalheads? Welcome back to another episode of Full Metal 5. And with Death Wish coming out this weekend, we thought, you know what? In light of that, probably bad remake, although I hope it's good. We are going to look at the best remakes of all time. So, of course, I'm your host, Chance Ellison, and with me I have a absolutely stacked panel. First of all, you know this man. He is the resident beard on just about every channel. He is Malcolm Lay. Malcolm, what's up?
Pretty good. I've got a very big long list here that I hope I can get through most of it. Otherwise, I'll have a lot of honorable mentions. So.
That's usually how it goes with this show. All right. Also joining us, we have somebody who he's been out of here for a while, but he is back for this episode. He is Henry Confidential, Henry Sanchez. Henry, what's up?
Not much. This is one of those episodes where it's like this could go one of numerous ways, and I'm genuinely curious to see how we're gonna approach this list. So, should be fun, controversial. We'll see.
Well, that's about every one of our episodes, so nothing new here. Also joining us, he is someone who's been making big splashes in the Full Metal media community. He is the #2 ranked contender, second only to me right now. He is Luca Fallon. Luca, what's up?
I'm going to vote no on every single one of your suggestions, Jones. Fuck off.
Thanks, buddy. And finally, he is our resident indie hipster, microbrew drinking guy. He is the biggest fan of Greta Gerwig in the universe. He's a bigger fan of Greta Gerwig than even her own mother. He is Zach Ford. Zach, what's up?
Hi, I'm sponsored by Wisconsin Brewing Company today, officially. Just don't tell them. And I'm happy to be a 5-timer club. I keep counting my Full Metal 5 appearances, so I'm a Full Metal 5-5er. Really happy to be part of it. Been 5. I keep it in my little diary under my bed every night.
That's strange. Okay.
I put mine on the fridge.
Yeah. In other news, Zach Ford has a diary, but in any case, let's start the show. So, for those of you who are new joining us, what we do here is we curate a top 5 list live for you. So, how this works is we have 3 different selection processes. The first one is the nomination process. So, how this works is each of us is going to go around and nominate a movie until we have a top 7. In order for a movie to make top 7, it has to get 3/5 majority vote. So, they all know how it works. I'm going to start with the voting, and this is a tough list because there's so many great remakes. Despite the fact that remakes kind of get a bad rap, but if you're looking at my shirt, you will know that my first nomination is going to go to John Carpenter's The Thing, which of course is a remake of The Thing from Another World. I think John Carpenter did an amazing thing with with atmosphere of being stuck in like an isolated location, with makeup, special effects. Kurt Russell as charismatic as he always is, especially with John Carpenter and at the director's chair. Keith David, you got Wilford Brimley. It's like so many things in the movie just work. It's a standout in cinematography and a standout in horror and sci-fi in general. I love The Thing, and I think it absolutely should be in consideration for best remake. So I'm going with my first nomination being The Thing. So I'm going with Henry first. Henry, does The Thing make top 7?
So when you think of a remake and when you think of how you want to judge them, you want them to either be just as good but have a different approach to it, or have a similar approach but be way better. And this is kind of both. This is way better than its predecessor, and it kind of has a slightly different approach with the same foundation. So this one is definitely on there. Like when you think of remakes, this is what you think of. Well, not necessarily, because you might not realize it's a remake, but once you realize it's a remake, it automatically jumps the list up. So The Thing is on the list, at least for me.
Okay, that's one vote. It's one vote yes for The Thing. Let's go to Malcolm next. Malcolm, The Thing, does it make top 7?
I'm going to go no from it. For me, I just wasn't a big fan of it or any of the sequels. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's a no for me.
All right. Well, let's go to Luca next. Luca, does The Thing make top 7?
I wanted to say no to all of your suggestions, but I obviously can't. The Thing is John Carpenter and Kurt Russell's best movie. It's one of the best horror films of all time. I would say that it, you could, if you wanted to be like super technical about it, you could say that it was a sequel. But as a remake, which is what it really is, it has to make the list.
All right. Well, despite the fact that Luca wanted to say no to all my suggestions initially, he said yes to The Thing, which means The Thing is the first movie to make top 7 on our list. Zach, you didn't get a vote, but The Thing, what would you have said?
I mean, I was just sucked in by The Thing right now, and that's why I had to leave for a little bit. Took my body away. But I mean, it didn't make my we can call it my short list, but it's actually my really long list. And I think I'm just not much of a genre head, and it's a personal taste pick of what that wouldn't make it for me.
But The Thing had Greta Gerwig or a Muppet. That would have made your list, though, right?
It would need both.
A Muppet
I think it would be a perfect movie, but
all right,
a Muppet version of G-Wig.
Well, Zach, you're up next. Your vote didn't count last time, so I will let you nominate the next film.
There's 2 different kind of on brand I can go. Slightly snobbish, or I don't want to give away anything else. I'm going to go with a classic movie choice, which is about half my list. People forget that a lot of these old studio movies were actually remakes because they just kept trying out the same stuff too. We complain about remakes now. In the 40s, there's a lot of it. So my pick, and when I'm talking about best remakes, we really should be thinking of what has done better rather than a passable remake. And like The Thing, which people forget that there's an original one because it wasn't as good as the new one. And the same goes with His Girl Friday. The original one had a different title that I don't have on top of my head, but it took the basic storyline for it as well. So His Girl Friday is
a remake of the front page.
It's what?
It's a remake of the front page.
Thank you. So His Girl Friday is Rosalind Russell giving just a wonderful performance, delivering the speedy dialogue that I feel like only her, and of course Cary Grant, who does speedy dialogue better than anyone. If only we could see Cary Grant in an Aaron Sorkin movie, that would have worked wonderful. But this was like, if Aaron Sorkin was in the 40s writing some screwball romantic comedies, this is what it would be, and it works perfectly to this day. You have to watch it multiple times because you cannot catch every great joke, a great line they say. So that's my pick.
All right, His Girl Friday is on the table. I'm gonna go to Malcolm first. Malcolm, His Girl Friday doesn't make.
I haven't seen this in a while, but I'm going to say yes because from what I remember of it, I did actually enjoy it. So yeah.
All right, Luca, His Girl Friday doesn't make top 7.
Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting one. It wasn't one that kind of instantly jumped to mind, but that is probably like Cary Grant's best straight-up comedy role, and the scene where he's talking to the guy that he thinks is his ex-wife's fiance, and he's not. It's the guy next to him, and he's being so like kind of stuck up and in his own head that he's not getting it. It's one of my favorite scenes in all of comedy cinema from the 40s. But at the same time, there are just movies on this list which I prefer, so I'm going to give that the X-Men. So I'm going to say no.
All right. Henry, His Girl Friday doesn't make top 7.
So this is one of those movies where I feel like the performances kind of outshine the movie as a whole. So when you think of this movie, you think of the chemistry between the characters and kind of their interactions more than like, you know, you're not saying let's go watch His Girl Fridays for the story and, you know, enjoy it as a film. You're like, oh, let's turn our brain off, let's laugh and have some fun. So I'm gonna go no, just because I feel like as a film it doesn't stand out as much. What's then as a remake, I feel like it doesn't really add nothing much to, you know, much better. So I'm gonna go no.
All right, so we are to me next, and yeah, you know, I'm in that same boat as Luca, where like when I was thinking about like remakes for my, you know, I was gonna nominate His Girl Friday didn't immediately jump into my head. That being said, I think it is a good movie. I do think it's one of, yeah, like Luca said, one of Cary Grant's better performances. That being said, I'm still gonna go no, because I feel like when people think that movie, Cary Grant, and that's the thing that stands out. He overpowers the movie. I don't think the rest of the movie is as good as him.
Yeah.
Rosalind Russell.
Rosalind Russell is
yeah.
very
Cary Grant.
It's very much like let's watch Cary Grant do funny stuff.
Yeah, pretty much. So, sorry, Zach. His Girl Friday does not make top 7.
That's what
Yeah,
you get for being a little snobby indie bitch.
Okay, Luca said it, not me, and because of that, I'm gonna have him go next. Luca, this what goes on top 7.
So I've just chewed out Zach for being like an indie film head, and I'm about to suggest a Werner Herzog movie. So maybe not, glass houses and all that. I'm going to go with Werner Herzog's fantastic remake of Nosferatu, released in, I'm going to say, late 70s? Like 1979. With Klaus Kinski as the titular vampire. I think it's the best film adaptation of Dracula. I think it's a remake of a silent film from the 1920s that really sort of brought up how atmospheric that movie is. I think often there's something lost by translating silent cinema into speech cinema, like there was in that animated Metropolis remake, which was really weird. But this film manages to sort of keep the original sort of atmosphere and feeling of the original Murnau movie, while making it kind of sort of slightly more dynamic, slightly more sort of isolated. And Klaus Kinski as Count Orlok is just one of the most fantastic movie villains and movie vampires that I've ever seen. So I'm going to go with Werner Herzog's 1979 Nosferatu the Vampire.
All right. Well, Zach, Lucas had some harsh words towards you, so I'm going to let you go next. Werner Herzog's Nosferatu the Vampire. Does it make top 7?
Well, that's a lot more pretentious fucky than His Girl Friday. Let's go with that.
I'll agree.
Me and Luca need to go on a pretentious asshole off between each other.
Okay. Whereas you're drinking sort of craft beer, I'm drinking Jolly Rancher soda, so I think you win the class war.
That's the new hipster thinking things that aren't supposed to be they're supposed to be mainstream. Oh, that's not good. That's a different show. Okay. I'm like the version of Shut It. I'm a hipster from 2009. I've aged out. So
thank God for editing.
This is being live streamed.
What are you talking about? This is live.
We don't edit the show.
So Nosferatu is kind of against what I pretty much set up as my criteria, which is that it does not outshine the original Nosferatu. Nosferatu, the silent film still holds up really strongly, and I think I will go back to that before I go back to the Herzog movie. So I am a no for that, and just because I want to fucking piss off Luca.
You're just extremely wrong. I would like to point that out.
All right. Well, first of all, I would like to say Pretentious Fuck Showdown is a new show coming to Full Metal Media at some point. I don't know when, but at some point. And I'm gonna go next, and I think Luca's got a lot of good points. I do think that there's a big challenge, inherently a big challenge in translating a silent film and color. Kinski did give a very good performance as Dracula, but at the same time, Zach does have a point, because sometimes remakes become the iconic version. I feel like the old version of Nosferatu is still the iconic version. So I still think it overshadows the remake. Not that the remake isn't good, but the remake's great. But I still think the original still overshadows it. So I'm still gonna vote no. Henry. Nosferatu the Vampire, does it make top 7?
So when you ask somebody what is one of the best vampires, they're going to say Nosferatu, and then when you ask from what movie, they're going to say the original. So it's just one of those where a lot of people won't even realize that it was remade, not because the movie's bad, it's just because the other one is the original is just so iconic. And for it being, damn near 100 years old at this point, it's like that is impressive that can be more accessible in terms of being more well known. So I'm gonna go no.
There's a very specific reason for it being more well known. It's because in the 1920s, films were coming out of Germany a lot, and they were allowed to come out of Germany. But during the Cold War, that wasn't so much the case. Nosferatu the Vampire is not as well known because it was kept within Germany for a long time because of the Cold War, not because it's a worse film.
Fair enough. But with that being
said, we're not saying
regardless, it's more well known, and I'm gonna go no because it's just sometimes that's just apples and oranges. Which one do you like more at this point?
Fair.
So
Fair.
It's
All
cool.
right,
I got Cloverfield
so
Paradox.
Nosferatu to the Vamp.
It's fine.
I just
You got
want to
Cloverfield
know what
Paradox.
Nosferatu does in the shadows.
Okay. Yeah, Luca, you got Cloverfield Paradox.
That movie is bad.
That movie is bad. Cloverfield Paradox or What We Do in the Shadows?
What We Do in the Shadows. I hate that movie.
Oh, I love that
Whoa.
movie. It's for you, Luca.
Whoa.
Let's also remember that
Uh,
Luca has nothing in the middle. He either loves it or he hates it.
All right, so
that could
now the
just be
Full Metal is
bad.
down to 4 panelists because Luca's gone.
All right, Malcolm, let's keep on track. Malcolm, what would you have said about Nosferatu the Vampire?
Well, I was going to give it a pitchy yes, but after Luca's comment about What We Did in the Shadows, I would have said no.
Don't blame me.
Well,
Blame
you see,
what we
Luke, you
did.
just screwed yourself out of a vote. All right, but Malcolm, you are going next, so you get to nominate the next movie for top 7.
Well, this next one, I'm pretty sure is not going to make the list with the panel that's here, but I promised Robert Parker I'll bring this one up. I'm going to
Oh,
nominate
boy.
Beauty and the Beast.
Oh.
Live action.
Too early for the crazy shit.
Yeah, I know, right? Say this for later rounds.
Yeah,
I mean, to remake an animated movie into a live action, it's not pretty easy. And I'm voting this because it's not because Robert asked me to do it. I actually like this one as well. But like they did a really good job of making this one into a live action and even getting the iconic songs back, and I just really enjoy it.
Okay. So I'm going to me first just because I know I'm the only one. Now, I actually really enjoyed, not really, well, enjoyed is an understatement. I actually really loved 2017's Beauty and the Beast. And Joe, nobody else on this panel is going to do it. I'm going to give it a yes because I do think it's a very good movie, and I do like it a whole lot. And I rewatched it. And I've rewatched it more times than I ever thought I would. Not more than in the animated, but I've rewatched it enough times, and I'll give it a yes. Also because nobody else's panel will. Zach, you want to just say no and call it a day?
Well, first of all, you contradicted everything we just said about Nosferatu because it does not outshine the original. And also, the original's not that great. Anyways, there's my hot take. Beauty and the Beast, boring, yo. And
now we're down to 3 panelists.
Move on. I just want to speak as much so that we can make this tied to the top 5 longest shows because every one of those I have been on. So, continue.
All right, moving on. Luca?
No.
Yeah,
Get out of here. Go away.
all right, and Henry.
Which one was nominated for Best Picture? There's your answer.
Okay, then that's fair. All right, so Beauty and the Beast, surprisingly. Sorry, Robert, and to anybody else watching who liked that movie. Beauty and the
Don't
Beast was not
apologize to
made top
Robert for
7.
that stupid shit.
You're supposed to wait until we've been drinking more to start bringing up Beauty and the Beast and Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, I know, right? We're kind of playing our weird cards early, but hey, whatever. Henry, you're up.
All right. So I got a couple I could bring up that you might not realize are remakes because I didn't realize until today when I did some research. I kind of want to say one in the similar vein of Beauty and the Beast just to make Malcolm feel a little better that he was on the right track. He just took the wrong left. But I'm going to go with the movie that is not necessarily beat for beat like its original, but it's rarely similar in a lot of moments. And I'm going to go with a movie that is based on a TV movie. So if it doesn't make it, I'd understand because of logistics. But I'm going to go with Heat, 1995, Michael Mann's Heat. And it was remade from TV movie that, in case you guys didn't know, called LA Takedown, also Michael Mann. And there is a lot of beat for beat moments where it's like, wow, that is interesting. But it's like, it's one of those situations where when I think about classic movies that, whether it's like the visuals don't hold up or whatever, it's like, man, that needs to be remade just to upgrade the times because it has the potential. This is the type of situation where it's a TV movie, didn't have the budget, didn't have the good actors, all that stuff. And Heat is, an iconic movie. It brought together Robert De Niro and Al Pacino a little bit, and it is a lot of fun, and it's a good crime movie. So I'm gonna go Heat. Did you know?
Okay, I'm gonna go to me first. I am counting Heat first of all. Second of all, I did know Heat was a remake of Michael Mann's LA Takedown. I've seen LA Takedown, which
It's bad.
I think you're undercutting it. It's not nearly beat for like Heat is nearly like a frame by frame copy of that. And yeah, I think Heat's a great movie. I think it is leagues above LA Takedown, and yeah, I think, and the fact that like a remake of one of his own movies still stands as Michael Mann's best film, hands down. I think. Yeah, I'm giving Heat a yes. So, Luca's giving me a face. I don't know. What would you say is Michael Mann's best movie?
Manhunter exists, so I mean,
And Collateral.
Manhunter is a better movie than Heat.
I know.
Yes.
Whatever.
You
Luca.
Does he make the list? I like Heat a lot, but no, it's just. You were talking, Henry, actually, about people going to that film for Cary Grant, and I think that if Heat didn't have Pacino and De Niro in it, it would be a significantly worse movie, and they're what makes that movie. So, in terms of like being a film as a whole, that film is so defined by its performances that if you take Al Pacino and De Niro out, you just get LA Takedown. And fundamentally, the LA Takedown is a weak movie. Heat as a whole, I think, is kind of weaker than people give it credit for. So I'm going to say no on that one.
Hey, we got Val Kilmer before he got fat. So there's that.
I mean, fair, but
Zach, Heat.
So, Heat may be Michael Mann's best movie, but Michael Mann is not my jam. It almost rhymes. I count it. But it just kind of sits there for me. It doesn't elevate to anything I need, and I feel like people love it for the Pacino De Niro performance, and that speaks. Yeah, that's the best part of it because they're only together 1.5 scenes. So there's 1.5 great scenes. There's one great scene in the middle. Is the only time they actually like converse with each other, and the rest of it is just run of the mill kind of crime movie stuff for me. So I'm a no.
All right. That's fair. And Malcolm, you are the deciding vote. Heat doesn't make top 7.
Yeah, like with Heat, I've got a very hot take on it.
Is this going to be the top 5 shows with the most puns?
But I'm going to side with two people who shot me down for Beauty and the Beast, Luca and Zach. I don't think Heat should be on the list.
All right, that's fair. All right, so
we are going to be here for a while.
As long as we vote for Heat.
The Heat McCarthy.
How much Jolly Rancher drinks you got?
With a fucking Heat.
I'm out. Clean out.
Here, you want some
Jack? So yeah, we're doing well.
You want some Jack?
So after one rotation, we only have one movie on our top 7, so we got to keep going, and we're back to me. Okay, I'm gonna go with a personal choice. I think it's hopefully some people agree on, and that's 2001's Ocean's 11. Now the original Ocean's 11, of course, the Rat Pack starring vehicle, and look, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and Sammy Davis Jr. have all the charisma in the world, but I don't think they were well equipped to do a good heist thriller in 1960 when the movie was released. But I think what Steven Soderbergh did with the material, like making it a grand, like big heist film, probably one of the better heist films ever come out. And I do think, you got the great cast. You got George Clooney as one of his better roles, Danny Ocean. You got Brad Pitt. You got Matt Damon. The bane of my existence, Julia Roberts, who she's there. She's good. I'll admit it. She's good, but she's there. You got like the great like heist crew, which is like every one of them is like a great different personality. I think they're all really good, despite the fact that Casey Affleck is there. And yeah, I think I think the new Ocean's 11 far outshines the original, and I do think it stands one of the best heist movies of all time. So my next vote's going to Ocean's 11, and I'm going to Luca next. Luca, Ocean's 11 doesn't make top 7.
I actually like Ocean's 11 a lot more than I feel like I should. But I prefer Ocean's 13, and I prefer the Italian Job remake, and I prefer the Thomas Crown Affair remake. So there are like heist film remakes that I prefer that are not on my list. And I'm just gonna, I'm gonna give that a no as well. I'm sorry, I do like some movies, by the way, guys. There are some movies that are on my list that I like.
All right. Well, I don't believe you, but whatever. Let's go to Henry next. Henry, does Ocean's 11 make top 7?
Well, as some people may know, Brad Pitt's my favorite actor. He's in the movie. He likes spoons and, eating chips and stuff. But overall, I feel like the story is kind of dry. Like, you have the banter between the characters, and you have the setup, and you have the actual heist itself. But in between there, I feel like it's very thin, and it doesn't, like, when you think of a heist movie, you want stakes, high stakes. And I feel like that movie doesn't really have it. So it seems real thin. It's a fun ride, but as an overall movie, I think it gets more credit for being fun than an actual good movie. So I'm going to go no.
Oh, I forgot to bring up Don Cheadle's accent, by the way, as a Brit.
Hilarious.
Wow.
Hilarious.
Like, I think that was intentional. Though. That was intentional.
I think he's just
Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen the original Ocean's 11, but the remake I actually really liked. So, yes, I think it should be on the list.
All right, and Zach, you are the deciding vote. Ocean's 11, does it make top 7?
So it didn't make my long short list. But I think that's just because I'm not going to bring it up. And if I look at my list, I know like 9/10 of these are never going to get picked. So I think might as well, because it's a perfect like, it's what I want Hollywood big budget movies to be. It's just, this is movie star power at its best. You put a bunch of great fun actors that are charming on screen and just have them be charming as shit and do fun things and heists. It's something I wish we kind of got more of. I want more Ocean's 11 ripoffs. That's what I need.
Ocean's 8 coming, so.
Yeah, we have Ocean's 8, so
I'm pretty hyped for it. I'm pretty pumped. I like the preview.
The preview is fine, but we're not here to discuss Ocean's 8. We're here to discuss. All right, so that's the yes from Ford, and with that, Ocean's 11 makes top 10. I'm not
guys. We
top
can't
7. Oh god, top 10
person who gets movies on this list.
No, I don't want to be the one
to bring up Beauty and the Beast, because I might have had a chance because we got down to 2 remakes left.
All right. Let's go to. We're going back to Zach. Zach, you're up, buddy.
Oh, and now I'm just gonna go super on brand now. I tried to determine whether literary adaptations were going to be allowed for this list, because in a way it is more off of the novel or the play, but there was movies of it beforehand, so technically it's still a remake because it's the same story, but the same story done in a unique spin, a unique way. Maybe you see some other versions might be better, but nothing was done like this. And of course I'm going with Muppet Christmas Carol. And so Muppet Christmas Carol, the future #1 on this list.
All right, and the next movie nominated is going to be what? Cuz just kidding.
I said enough about this in the past things, but Ghost of Christmas Present is my spirit Muppet, and I will live with him forever, so we can move on. Say your no's.
All right. I'm going to go to Henry first. Henry, Muppet Christmas Carol, does it make top 7?
All right, usually I don't like to show my cards, but it's definitely clear that I've never seen a Muppet movie, so I have to abstain from this one because I can't even pretend to fake it until I make it on this one. So this and Star Trek are openly known that I've never seen, so I gotta just be true to myself.
That's why I went to you first, Henry. Let's go to Luca first. Let's go to Luca.
I think if we did a Full Metal 5 Full Metal 5 adaptations of A Christmas Carol, I don't think it would make my list. So
you're an asshole.
No, I kind of had to say no. I like the George C. Scott version. I like the Alistair Sim version. I like Scrooged more.
All right. Well, Malcolm, if you say, I mean, you're kind of deciding about right now because you say no, we're done. So you're up, buddy.
Well, Muppets Christmas Carol is only my second favorite Christmas Carol adaptation. My first being the Jim Carrey version. So
really?
No,
interesting. Yeah.
So no.
Malcolm.
I don't think it makes the list.
It's better than Ghosts of Girlfriends Past, though. Let's give it that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've all just killed my soul.
All right. Well, Muppet Christmas Carol does not make the list, despite the fact that it is my favorite version of Christmas Carol, and I would have given it an yes, Zach. So I got your back, buddy. All right.
I want to shout out Jeremy real fast, saying Muppet Christmas Carol in the live chat. Muppet Christmas Carol was on another list. Shut up, Zach. Muppet Christmas Carol should be on every list, Jeremy. You just put it down.
It's not where I saw that point going.
Yeah, this is not where I saw this going. But
movie, Muppet Christmas Carol.
this is okay. This is not how I thought the show was gonna go. But we're moving on anyways. Luca.
12 Monkeys. Yeah, 12 Monkeys is, I think, probably my number one favorite remake of all time. It's a remake of 1962's La Jetée, which is like an old 60s French West Bank
1962.
movie. It's a really, what did I say?
You just said 60s, so I was just being specific.
Which is kind of a really weird, like French New Wave West Bank film. Terry Gilliam took this like really weird movie that was like a collection of stills with narration on top and turned it into like a hilarious, like dark sci-fi comedy with, we've already mentioned him, Brad Pitt, Bruce Willis. It is a really phenomenal, really funny, really interesting movie that deals with a lot of the same themes that the best sci-fi does, like identity and surveillance and, you know, sort of chemical engineering and stuff like that. And like, it's just a really sort of fantastic Gilliam movie that has all of the trademarks of what makes Gilliam so great. So I'm going to say 12 Monkeys. Let's go with that.
All right, I'm going first. And it's tough because I can't necessarily say I want to say a Terry Gilliam movie, probably the one I've seen the most. I think I'm more partial to Brazil, but Brazil this is my close. It's close. It's either that or Brazil. It's one of those two. But either way, I give this one a yes. I love 12 Monkeys. I think it's one of the most underrated sci-fi movies of all time. If you saw our episode of best standalone sci-fi movies, you know how much I love this movie. I think it's a great concept. I think it's a great portrayal of the concept of time travel. I think you have Bruce Willis when he still gave a shit. You have Brad Pitt as in one of his better performances. I think he may have gotten nominated for an Oscar. I can't remember, but either way, yeah, 12 Monkeys get the yes from me. Let's go to Henry next. Henry.
So, yeah, that was the other movie I was talking about when I was talking about remakes, and so that's old style. 12 Monkeys is just so much fun. I just watched it the other, last night actually, not even in prep for this because I didn't realize it was a remake until this morning. So it's just honestly a coincidence that I just watched it last night, and it is amazing. And it's just watch it. There's the performances, the story. It has a conclusion that might not be so satisfying to like people in general, especially like science fiction fans. And it's just like he had the balls to go there, and it's like that's good. That's especially when you're talking about a remake. It's like if you want to stand out, that's a way to do it. And 12 Monkeys. Here's one of the monkeys. Let's get some more.
All right. So that is it. 12 Monkeys makes top 7. And our third movie would make the list. Malcolm, Zach, you guys can get a vote. So, Zach, what would you say about 12 Monkeys?
I also sometimes don't try to show my cards, but my vote doesn't count. So I haven't seen 12 Monkeys because I just despise Luca and don't watch anything I know he loves.
Okay, that's fair.
Just watch Pan's
Right, and
I'll be happy.
And Malcolm, 12 Monkeys would have made your list.
I've not seen the movie. I've seen the TV series. I enjoyed that. Haven't gone out and seen the movie yet. So
watch 12 Monkeys, guys. Also, to be fair, watch La Jetée. It's really weird, but I think it's great.
Okay, when we get off,
La Jetée is so fucking bizarre. That so fucking bizarre.
That film is so strange.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's just bizarre. So we're going to you, Malcolm.
It's French, so.
What Disney movie are you bringing up, Malcolm?
Roasted.
I'm actually not going to bring up a Disney movie. I'm bringing up
Peter Jackson's King Kong.
And a classic epic movie. I'm bringing up 1959's Ben-Hur. It's a remake of a 1925 silent movie. And like, yes, it's based on a book, but it's really good. It won a lot of Oscars and introduced and like it was just long and really good. So yeah.
All right. So 1959's Ben-Hur is on the table. Zach, I'm going to you first. Ben-Hur doesn't make top 7.
I'm a no for Ben-Hur. I think it's a classic epic that's kind of its time and necessarily doesn't age well, especially as you are able to see how those movies have been able to expand the type of movies. I mean, they did a modern version of Ben-Hur. That wasn't any better. I mean, that was
Morgan Freeman dreads.
2016.
Right, he was the African but didn't have an accent.
but Ben-Hur, especially considering like other epics at the time, it just doesn't even reach the list. I'd take Spartacus over Ben-Hur. So no,
Spartacus is so boring.
All right, right on.
And I love Scooby.
All right, so I'm going to me next. Personally, I'm more partial to the 2016 Ben-Hur. I mean, you got Jack Houston, you got Toby Kebbell yelling stuff, Morgan Freeman with dreads and no axe. No, I'm kidding. I couldn't keep that for long. I'm actually going to give this one a yes. I do think like when you think of like this is a classic example. It showed what I think Luke, correct me if I'm wrong. Cecil B. DeMille directed this one, right?
Ben-Hur is
William Wyler.
yeah, Ben-Hur. No, Ben-Hur is William Wyler.
Yeah, that's what I thought. William Wyler. I don't know about Cecil B. DeMille. I think it's 10 Commandments.
Cecil B.
But
DeMille-
yeah, William Wyler. Definitely what to do. I thought he did a great job of Ben-Hur. I mean, it has the records. Has one of the most Academy Award winning films of all time. 13 wins. You don't get there for no reason. So I'm gonna give Ben-Hur a yes. Gonna go
To me?
yes, you.
Yeah, Ben-Hur is actually my favorite biblical epic. I think it's a really fantastic movie. I think Charlton Heston is probably at his best in this one when it comes to his ethics. I kind of prefer him in Planet of the Apes overall. But it's got the great chariot racing scene, choreographed by one of the greatest stunt coordinators of all time, Yakima Canutt, and done by his son, is in the chariot. I just think it's a really fantastic film. I think it's aged a lot better than like Ten Commandments or Cleopatra or that one film called The Bible or King of Kings or something like that, which is bad. Ben-Hur gets a yes.
All right, so I believe that closes it. Ben-Hur makes the list. Henry, what would you say about Ben-Hur?
It's one of those movies where it's like, can you knock it because the remake is so bad? I don't know, but because it just makes you think of the remake. But it's one of those where you have Charlton Heston. He's so memorable. Other than Planet of the Apes as a franchise, you don't necessarily think of Charlton Heston. But when you think of Charlton Heston, you think of Ben-Hur. So I feel like it's all in all, it's one of the best epics, one of the better performances from Heston, and it's his most memorable, and it just would have been funny if he would have said "damn you all to hell" in that movie instead of Planet of the Apes. But yeah, so
biblical times, so wouldn't it be like "damneth you all to hell"? I don't know, but
would have been.
And also in that movie's defense, like nobody saw the remake of Ben-Hur, so they didn't waste their time. So
I saw.
I'm a
either way,
Ben-Hur mega fan.
right.
All right. Either way, Ben-Hur makes the list, and I'm going to Henry next. Henry.
All right. So just because I want to talk about it, my last one, I kind of want to piggyback on my last pick. So last time I did a remake, a director remade his own movie, and I kind of want to go with that again. I want to go with Alfred Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much. It's a nice, interesting. Not necessarily who done it. It's kind of like who to trust. Where's it going to go? It's a nice mystery. And it's one of those stories where, back in the 60s, it's like it's able to hold up. I think it was 60s, 50s, 50s. In that era where it holds 50s. Up as far as like a mystery. And that's kind of hard to do because, it's one of those where even the ending of Psycho leading up to it is amazing. But the ending, it's like, oh, yeah, maybe that could have been done better. And that's one of my favorite movies. But that type of movie, when you watch when you watch The Man Who Knew Too Much.
I think he's talking about the explanation by the scientist, which isn't great.
Yeah.
That is the worst part of that.
That part doesn't hold up. But when you have this type of movie throughout, it has threads and has character moments and it has, the son's actually pretty good in acting, and that's interesting to see ever, let alone back then. And Jimmy Stewart, that's never a bad thing. So The Man Who Knew Too Much. It's a lot of fun and it's a nice ride. And it's definitely better than his original. So I guess that I should have brought that up.
Going to me next. God damn you, Henry. because that was going to be my next pick. Yeah, I give Alfred Hitchcock's one of my favorite directors. This is one of my favorite movies of his. It's funny. I actually studied the scene in the orchestra hall when I was in school. One of my teachers actually showed us that and had us like examine it. And the weird thing was, it was a science class, so I don't know what that had to do with anything. But yeah, I still remember that scene. I still remember like so much about that movie. It's fantastic. It's pulse pounding. It's riveting. Yeah, I give Man Who Knew Too Much a big yes. Gonna go to Zach next. Zach, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Does that make top 7?
So I'm really on the edge because it's on my short list. But there's like 4 movies I really feel like have more of a place on this list, and there's only 3 spots left. But there's probably not going to be a time to mention them all. So I think I'm going to go with yes. It's interesting to see a director kind of with more years experience go back to just feel like I feel like he really felt he can do more of a job, and he also just had or a better job, and also had more money. I think probably thrown at him to make it a little more of an elaborate movie with a great kind of closing sequence. Or big and climactic sequence. I'm losing my mind. Sorry. Big climactic sequence with the orchestra as well that really pays off well. And is exciting. So, yes.
All right. And I'm going to go to Malcolm next. Malcolm, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Does it make top 7?
It's already made it.
Oh, that's right. It has. That's right. 2 votes. Yes. That makes it.
But not going to tell you to do your job or nothing.
Malcolm, Luca, your votes do not count. Malcolm, what would you say about The Man Who Knew Too Much?
Well, I mean, if we're doing a Formula 5 on Hitchcock movies, it wouldn't make it for me because it's not my top 7 Hitchcocks. So it probably would have been a no for me.
All right. And Luca, I don't know what that sound is. Luca, what would you have said?
Yeah, so that's a really interesting one for me. Francois Truffaut, who's a French director, did a book about Hitchcock, and he asked him about The Man Who Knew Too Much, and Hitchcock said that the original film was the work of a talented amateur and the remake was the work of a professional. And that kind of sticks out to me a lot. And while a lot of Hitchcock's films from his like sort of mid-40s to the 60s period are like super professional, and I love that, I think The Man Who Knew Too Much is one of the slightly flatter versions of his really professional auteur-driven works. And I kind of have a soft spot for the original because it's a little bit more maverick and a little bit more rough. So I think I would have given that a no. Actually.
Okay.
Luca just out pretentious to me referencing the Truffaut interview. I just lost my game.
Okay. So pretentious counter. I think Luca's at the 5. Zach, you're behind with 4, but you still have
not read it. It's literally things that I know. Sorry. I apologize for being smarter than you guys.
Okay. Well, wow. Okay. Well,
I can't articulate
it. Said that.
So you are definitely smarter than me.
No, I'm teaching.
You're a teacher.
All right. Oh god. All right. Back to me. And there's a lot I could actually throw out there. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna go with another horror-ish sci-fi remake, and that is David Cronenberg's The Fly. The Fly is a movie that I think it took the elements of like body horror and the element of like a man turning into a fly, and it really kind of made that into a great character piece. Like with The Thing, like the makeup, special effects are incredible. Jeff Goldblum, if genre films had gotten the respect they rightfully deserve, he would have been nominated for an Oscar for that movie. I think Goldblum's incredible. Cronenberg's direction incredible. He has a really great take on this. It's my personal favorite Cronenberg film. And I think it absolutely should make top 7. So, Luca, your vote didn't count last time, so I'm going to go to you. Cronenberg's The Fly, does it make top 7?
Cronenberg is one of my favorite directors of all time, but there are so many Cronenberg movies I like more than this, and we already have The Thing on the list, so sorry, but no.
We can only have one The movie on the list?
It's a massive, they are, like, always talked about in the same sentence, and we already have The Thing, and I want variety, so...
Fine. I should have gone with something else. All right, fair enough. Malcolm.
It's not one of my favorite horror movies. And just like Luca, there's so many more Cronenberg movies I enjoy better as well. So it's a no for me as well.
All right. And I'm gonna go to well, I think Zach's gonna say no. I'm gonna build suspense. I'm gonna go to Henry next.
Yeah, so this escalated quickly. No.
God
You
damn
also
it. All right.
broke Jeremy's heart.
Yeah, Jeremy's dying in the chat somewhere. Zach, what would you have said?
If you asked 3 hours ago when we started this show, I would have said yes. It was definitely on my list, but being that we're getting really tight, we only have 2 movies left, and I really think there are 4 that I have which deserve a place, like need to be in the list, but people are forgetting or not realizing that they're remakes. So I would have been a no at this point.
All right. Well, either way, Zach, we're up to you next. What do you want to throw up next?
Okay, this one, if this doesn't make the list, I think we're going to lose all viewers for all future shows as well, and past shows. They'll go back in time and decide not to watch.
He's putting left my channel on the line, so let's hear it, Zach.
Yeah, putting your channel on the line. Because this was based on it, or had a silent movie based on the property before, and this is The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz is a classic fantasy that's a big part of everyone's lives from a young age, or a lot of people's lives from a young age. Even to this day, I was talking or referencing it with my 7th graders, and they were able to understand the whole idea of the wizard hiding behind, spoilers to Wizard of Oz, the wizard hiding behind the kind of curtain and
because they had a brain.
Else. And half of my 7th graders were able to tell me all about this. So it's just something that's really resonated in our culture.
Yeah, I had a brain.
And I mean, if you're going to make a list of the top 10 most iconic movies, Wizard of Oz has to be on that list. So not only best remake, but one of the best movies of all time, Wizard of Oz.
Spoiler alert for a future show for us.
Hey,
Yeah, God,
I didn't say.
God damn
That
you.
Zach might be
Alright,
the one
so-
specifically talking about.
Wizard of Oz.
Just take that out.
Well, don't give too much away, Henry. Spoiler alert, I'm on that show too. But nevertheless. God damn you, Zach. Yeah, I can't say no to The Wizard of Oz. It's like a sickness I have. I can't say no to that movie.
Yeah, you don't want your channel shut down.
I do not want my channel shut down. So yeah, Wizard of Oz gets a yes from me, for all the reasons Zach said. It's a fantastic movie, one of the most iconic movies in all of cinema. It's as relevant as it was in 1939 as it is today, and that's almost 90 years. No, almost 80 years. I'm sorry. So yeah, I give Wizard of Oz a yes. I'm going to Luca next. Luca, Wizard of Oz, does it make top 7?
No, we were talking about this before. I don't consider Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet a remake, and I don't consider the 1939 Wizard of Oz movie a remake. It's based on the same property as The Silent Fall from 1925, but it is not taking that film as its primary source of inspiration. So I don't think it counts personally. I know that that's a your mileage may vary thing. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it's one of the greatest films of all time. But in terms of best remakes, I am not going to count it at all. So no.
Told the story better.
Did you say yes to Ben-Hur? Because Ben-Hur could be the same thing.
Yeah.
Just because it's the Bible? No.
Based on the Bible story.
It's the Bible. But either way,
I'm on chapter 4.
the best-selling book of all time. Either way, that's a no from Luca. Henry.
If only I had a brain. I'm going to go yes for The Wizard of Oz because it's so great.
All right.
And because
So,
fuck
Wizard
you.
of Oz. All right. So the Wizard of Oz makes top 7. Malcolm, your vote did not count. What would you have said?
Well, I mean, first off, I was just thinking, do we have 2 or 3 spots left? Because by my count, we've got 3 spots left.
I
No,
have
5. No, 1. With 1.
Yeah, I have 6.
Because I've got Fang, Ocean's 11, Ben Hur, Man Who Knew Too Much, and now Wizard of Oz. But what's the other one?
12 monkeys. 12 monkeys.
Oh, right. For some reason, I thought that was anyway. Back to the subject at hand.
Thank God for editing.
But I would have sided with Luke on this. It's a good movie. I just don't know if it did much differently from the silent for it to count as a remake. And yeah.
Semantics.
All right.
You don't need to go to the class.
Semantics. We're not here to debate semantics just because we could be here all day. So Wizard of Oz makes top 7, and I believe we go to Luca next. Luca, your vote.
Let's see. The films we've got on so far are kind of
sci-fi, epic, thriller, fantasy, and crime. We actually
Yeah,
have
but
a blend.
they're kind of stuck. We've got nothing from. Oh no, we do have Ocean's 11 from the 2000s. Okay.
And crime.
Hmm.
We're not missing a genre, so it could go anywhere.
I'm gonna go with. There are two westerns on here, and I want to nominate one of them. Let's go with.
Do it.
Oh,
Do it.
I really want to argue for Fistful of Dollars, but I gotta go with 310 to Yuma, the 2007
Don't
310 to
pick
Yuma.
the wrong Western. Okay.
That James Mangold film with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale is really, really wonderful. I love the pacing of that movie. I love the atmosphere of that movie. I think Ben Foster is fucking brilliant and like chilling in that movie. I think it does a fantastic job of updating not just the original, but like the idea of the Western. And I think that while the film that I was wrestling with, A Fistful of Dollars, is a really wonderful retelling of Yojimbo. Just the lyricism and the poetry present in the cinematography and music from Marco Beltrami, who is wonderful. I just think that 310 is a wonderful movie, so I'm going to go with that one.
10 to, honestly, Luca, that's not the direction I thought you were going to go. But either way, 310 to
What did
Yuma.
you think I was going to go for?
I'm going to go to Henry to Yuma. I don't want to say it just in case this gets shot down and someone else brings it up. So, Henry.
So if I'm going with westerns, modern westerns remakes, there's two that come to mind. I think one is more fun, and I think the other is just overall a better movie. And I think the better movie is the one that was nominated right now. I think a little remake from the fun directors, if you guys know what I mean. That one's a little more fun and has maybe more rewatchable. But I think this one's a better movie with better performances across the board, and the way that it ends is just so. It's interesting, but it's one of those initially you're like, I don't know, but then when you think about it, you're just like, I respect that and I dig it, and it just shows where James Mangold, we got Logan because of a movie like that, because that was so well made and so well received. So I'm not saying that's why I'm saying yes, but that just shows of how good that movie was really, and that was what 11 years ago, so that's impressive. So yes, I'm going yes to 310 to Yuma, which is
the live chat is arguing about True Grit, and I would like to let the live chat know that True Grit is one of the Coen Brothers' weakest movies, and they can fuck off.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, but I don't think it's as well made. But yeah,
that's
what I was talking about.
Super well made. Oh no. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, all of the Coen Brothers movies are super well made. That film is just weak and boring and bland.
I'm talking about like story wise. It's not as appealing. It's just fun. Anyway, we digress. And Halo Stein.
We digress. Yeah, we digress. Zach.
Yeah, Luca picked the wrong modern western movie. I just showed my cards on that. So my 310 to Yuma was a lot of fun, and I think it was a really refreshing in a time when all the westerns that were coming out were oh my gosh, the words in my head. What kind of westerns? When they kind of
Spaghetti?
No.
Spaghetti.
It'll come to me later, and I'll say it. When they like reconstructing the genre. So, yeah, it's fucking late, guys. Okay, so but otherwise, it was refreshing to have just a pure western action flick that was fun. But it's not the best modern western that's still on the table. So, no.
All right. Malcolm.
Yeah, it's a no from me. There's only one spot left, and so I've got a few others that I think is better. I did not like the story from 310 to Yuma at all, so it's a no from me.
Guess you don't like
All
trains.
right. Malcolm does not like trains, so to me next. I thought it wouldn't come to me. It sucks because I do love 310 to Yuma. think it is. I think it is a very great movie. Yeah, it showed what James Mangold can. Like, it showed like the passion James Mangold had for the westerns of genre period. Like Christian Bale's great. Russell Crowe actually deciding to act in this movie, which something he rarely does.
Still James Mangold's best western.
Best western. Yeah, well, I mean, I'll also count Logan as a western, in which I'd argue that one instead.
Mm-hmm.
Logan's okay.
Again, like I think there are other western remakes that I think I think would be better to have on this list than 310 to Yuma. So I'm gonna say no. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. 310 to Yuma does not make top 7. So we keep going, and we're back to Malcolm.
Well,
all right, Malcolm. Here's your chance to help yourself from earlier.
Yeah, well,
Let Malcolm breathe. It's a revisionist.
I could go with the other western I was thinking about that should be there, but because I want to do a joke about throwing a quote, but for my next movie I've got to ask, are you a cop? I'm putting up The Departed. And I know that's my worst impression of it, but
that was a great Boston accent.
Are you a cat?
Well,
I'm no fucking cop.
But yeah, I mean, the performances, like you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, you've got Matt Damon, and a whole bunch of other actors. It's really good. I can't remember what it's a remake of. I can't
Infernal
remember
Affairs.
the name of that one.
It's from Infernal Affairs. The movie's called Infernal.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's really good, and I think it holds up to today. So.
All right. I know. There's someone on this panel. First of all, Departed's on the table. I know there's somebody on this panel that has really strong. And I'm gonna let him rant because it's entertaining. So I'm gonna go to Luca next. Luca, tell us what you think about The Departed.
So The Departed is one of we've gone from me shitting on a film that people think is like high tier Coen Brothers, and now I'm gonna shit on a film that people think is high tier Scorsese. It's not that good. The entire reason that film was honored by the Academy is because Scorsese hadn't been honored by the Academy before. Yes, it's like a perfectly functional and well-directed movie, but that film is boring. It lives and dies on its ensemble cast. And if you take the ensemble cast away, everything under the surface is just like inconsequential and uninteresting. And it's really bad at building up tension. And it's all about trying to figure out who is like a mole. And for a film to be about like deception in a way like that, it really needs to build tension and paranoia better, and it's just not very good at doing that. And I think I love Scorsese. Scorsese is one of my favorite directors of all time. The Departed is a perfectly fine movie, but it's just I just couldn't bring myself to care while watching that movie because I was so distracted by all of like the superficial elements and like the decent but just kind of nothingy acting. I think almost everyone in that film has given a better performance in another movie. So just no.
I'm going to me next, and I'm also gonna give it a no. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's good, but like Lucas said, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this one Best Picture, didn't it? That was Best Picture this year, wasn't it?
It won Best Director for sure. I
can't remember what Best Picture. I would be surprised if it. But
won.
Either way.
Yeah, it won Best Picture.
Yeah, one Best Picture.
Didn't deserve.
That's what I thought.
The year after Crash.
Oh God, yeah, that was a dark time. But either way, yeah. I don't think necessarily the Best Picture of that year. I do think that was kind of like the Academy giving Martin Scorsese a Lifetime Achievement Award, but also calling it competitive. I did like how in the end it was because spoiler alert, where they all like started killing each other, but it's entertaining. I do like. Yeah, I'm going no. I'm gonna go to Henry next. Departed doesn't make top 7.
So this one's tough because I love this movie, but I definitely have a lot of flaws with it. It's one of those it's definitely not guilty pleasure territory, but it's definitely one where there's just so many little things that just add up and it just bothers me. So if I'm not in the right mood, I don't enjoy this movie as much as I usually do, and it's definitely gone down in the rewatches and time. But as far as a remake, maybe I need to rewatch it, but I honestly didn't like Infernal Affairs that much. And I like foreign movies. Old Boy is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love, City of God. Like, I love foreign movies. So it's not like I don't like foreign movies and I didn't get that movie. It's just I do feel like this one's more entertaining and a better movie. And what's the vote at? I'm really curious.
It's 2-1 in favor of, and it's 2-1 against The Departed.
Against?
Yeah. So if you say yes, pressure goes to Zach.
I'm gonna say yes, 51-49 right now, because I'm just curious what Zach's gonna say, and it just, like I said, this one depends on my mood. There's some days where this is the number one remake of all time to me, and there's some days where I shouldn't make the list. So I'm gonna put it like 5 or 6 for today, or at least for this vote. Now pressure's on you, Zach.
Thank you. We are turning it out to you.
Okay, so Departed, I think, is great fun. I kind of want to watch it right now. It's been a while, years actually, and I want to just kind of revel in what is kind of a campy undercover cop movie. It doesn't get called out for its campiness enough, and I don't think that's a flaw. But with Mark Wahlberg and Jack Nicholson, it is pretty over the top. But with that, I just don't think it holds up as much as a classic compared to still some of those I have on my list that I just can't put it in front of. So I am a no.
All right. And so, yeah, that's it. Departed does not make top 7. And let's go to Henry. Your vote is next.
Ooh, all right. Like I said, we have a mix of genres. We have a horror, a sci-fi, an epic, a thriller, a fantasy, and a crime. So, I mean, we covered all the things.
We need a comedy.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, comedy.
12 Monkeys is a comedy.
Maybe dark comedy, but yeah, I'm talking about, like, straight-up comedy.
I have one on my list, Henry. Do you want it?
That's definitely cheating.
You're a cheater. So
I mean, those things.
It's one of those where I'm just like, let's see, how do I want to approach this? I'm just buying some time. I guess Ocean's 11's a comedy. So I'm obviously not going to say The Karate Kid. All right, I can't find enough time. So I'm going to go with The Jungle Book. Because the animated one is not great at all. It's not even good. And the remake is amazing. The live action remake is amazing. And voice acting's great. It set precedents now for live action CG. So it's kind of, I feel like it's always going to hold up. Maybe not, but I mean, I feel like it's always going to hold up, whereas movies like Avatar already don't hold up, and it hasn't even been 10 years. So I feel like this movie's always going to hold up. It's amazing, and it's the reason why we're going to see like Lion King and all the stuff coming up, which may be a bad thing, but at least gives us that opportunity to have the faith to go there. So because I couldn't think of a comedy on the fly, I'm gonna go Jungle Book.
Fair enough. All right, I'm gonna go to Malcolm first. This is gonna be his next nomination if we get there. Malcolm, you're up next, buddy. Jungle Book doesn't make the list.
Well,
You said Beauty and the Beast, you fuck.
yes, I do. But if I was to pick between the animated version or the live action version of Jungle Book, I would go animated always.
Fuck
because
nostalgia.
Really?
Because
You wouldn't put Beauty and the Beast?
I like the animated Beauty and the Beast as well, but I just didn't like the live action version of Jungle Book more than I liked the animated. So, I mean, not that I'm saying it's a bad movie, because I did enjoy it, but I've got a few that I think are better than it in terms of best remakes. So I'm going to say no.
Dude, first of all, Henry, dude, if I told you all the comedy remakes you could have chosen, you'd be kicking yourself. But either way, I'm actually going to go to Luca next. Luca.
If you're a parent and you want your kids to if your kids are hyperactive and they're not fucking going to sleep, and you want them to just fucking sleep so you can get some rest, just put on either version of The Jungle Book. That story is boring. The film is boring. Both of the movies are boring. It's just bleh. The film was technologically a fucking marvel, but there is absolutely no reason to watch that movie ever. No.
Whatever.
Alright.
Man.
Whatever. Zach next. Zach.
So I don't know if you know this about me, but me and Luca are actually twins. We were born in the same body and separate the genes perfectly. He took all the ones with the shitty taste, and I took all the ones with the good taste.
This is not all the case.
Because Jungle Book is a classic story. I'm almost as much of a sucker for Jungle Book as I am for Muppets. The animated Jungle Book's in my top 20, if not top 10 movies of all time. Probably one I've seen the most. And live action Jungle Book was on my short list because I think it does kind of revolutionize cinema in a way with its use of technology, and really kind of threw us into where we can have CGI movies that just are being called live action, because let's not pretend Lion King is going to be an animated movie. It's not live action, but we consider it live action because it just looks so real, and something that does deserve to be kind of held up in that regard. However, I would have said yes to it a long time ago. Once again, at this point when things are being limited, I just know Jungle Book. I would vote yes if I think it had a chance of making the top 5. Jungle Book has no chance of making the top 5. It's going to get cut right away. So I'm a no.
Whatever, man.
All right, so that's a no for Jungle Book. Jungle Book has been shot down. Yeah, I think because like it is like it's spectacular visually, especially because like we take into account like it's like we filmed this in Burbank in a garage, but
it's filmed in the Kaleidos.
I would have said yes. What?
It's basically filmed in the fucking Kaleido studios.
Pretty much, yeah, and it looks fucking fantastic. So I would have said yes, but okay, we're back to me now, and oof. Okay, I'm torn between taking a Western and taking a comedy. I think either will get on. Well, okay, fine, you're right. Ocean's 11 is kind of a comedy, so I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with the movie that I thought Luca was going to pick when he was picking a Western, and that's 1960's Magnificent Seven. Magnificent Seven started the whole like Western trope of like band of guys save town, half die, big party, yay. I think it's done very well. You have like a great of some of the like biggest stars of how work in Hollywood at the time. You got James Coburn, you got Yul Brynner, Steve McQueen, Charles Bronson, and amongst many others. It was a great cast. It was a great squad for these guys, especially like towards the end of the movie. It's a great cast, great chemistry, great action for a '60s Western. I do think it was done really well, and I'm gonna throw up 1960s Magnificent Seven for my next vote. I'm gonna go the Magnificent Seven make top 7.
Who'd you go with, me or?
Yes, you.
I know that the chat's going to exploit me for this, and I do actually like this movie. This is a movie that I enjoy. The Magnificent Seven is a really great film, but like this is the very last spot that we have, and it's so intensely outshone by the Kurosawa movie. It's the Seven Samurai is one of the greatest movies of all time, and I'm not necessarily while with this down to the wire, I'm not inclined to give this slot to a film that is so brightly outshone by the original that preceded it. I think it's a good film. I think that other ensemble westerns are better. I think that the Sam Peckinpah Wild Bunch is better. I think that like
Young Guns. Think Young Guns is better?
I do not think Young Guns is better. I might argue for Silver
Eyes,
but no.
No. Young Guns too, baby.
I don't think that. Considering it's the last spot that the Magnificent Seven should be on.
This is where the show drags on, people. All right, I'm going to Zach next. Zach, 60s version. Does it make top 7?
It definitely pales. It really whimpers in the shadow of Seven Samurai, and I think it whimpers in the shadow of some other westerns around the time. I prefer Wild Bunch. I prefer Rio Bravo, and so Magnificent Seven is a no for me.
You prefer Young Guns?
I mean, Young Guns I had playing on the background this whole time.
Young Guns is the greatest movie.
That's why I keep looking away.
Young Gun's pretty good. All right,
Emilio!
and, it's gonna go to Malcolm. Gonna go to Malcolm.
Um,
Emilio! Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not the Western I thought Luke was going to go with, and it's but there's another one that I was hoping for, and I might, if it gets around to me, that will probably be the next one I nominate. And I actually preferred the 2017 version of the Magnificent Seven over
16.
uh,
16.
I think I knew I had the year wrong, but anyway, so no from me.
All right. And Henry, you are the decider, buddy. Magnificent Seven, 20s, 19. I'm sorry, 1960s Magnificent Seven. Does it make the list?
Wait, did Malcolm say yes?
I just have one question for you guys.
Yeah, I said no.
So it's
Oh, you said
doesn't make
no?
sense.
Yeah, I said no.
I'm sorry. I missed you. I'm sorry. I'm off my game right now. Never mind, Henry. Your vote does not count.
Well, can I
What
still
would
ask
you
my
say?
question?
No.
Did the
Go ahead.
Magnificent Seven yield swords? I don't think so.
Did you just say yield swords?
Yeah.
That's not what that word.
They're in the deleted scenes.
You mean wield swords?
Wield swords? Yield?
Yield
You said
swords?
yield.
They were yielding.
They did yield their swords. They never
It was
pulled
a
out the
3.5
swords.
hour movie. They were
wielded the
yielding
swords.
throughout.
They were yielding, but they were not yielding swords. Either way,
You
Magnificent
ruined
Seven
my
does not make
flow
top
of
seven.
my pun, so I fucked up.
No, I did fuck up. I'm sorry. But we're back.
Man, so I'm gonna go with a classic comedy. Another one
Lady Killers. Good job.
another one that is considered one of the best films of all time, let alone one of the best remakes, and it just got voted best comedy of all time by some British thing, probably,
Lady
right?
Killers.
I don't know, but some Like It Hot. It was based on a French movie. Don't get me wrong, that Some Like It Hot was based on a movie from a different country that was in America.
Don't even fact check. Let's just roll with that.
And they did add
It's on Fanfare Plus.
Just roll with it.
They did add the gangster elements too, which is a big part of that. But the general concept was from that movie, and just for having a comedy in this, I don't think you could have something. There's not so many comedies that are as visually striking as I believe Some Like It Hot is, and I think you talk a lot about the chemistry between the two actors and a lot of the humor, but Billy Wilder's direction is just impeccable, and images he's able to really make a kind of electric stirring looking movie for this kind of crime comedy that he made. So Some Like It Hot is my choice.
All right. First of all, let me just say, people curious, like thinking like, oh, that's a remake. Yeah, it actually is. They're called Fanfare of Love. Just so we're all sort of clear, so it does count.
And it's a Richard
I'm
Poppy.
going to Henry.
So I didn't know that this was a remake, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm a huge Billy Wilder fan. Some Like It Hot, Some Like It Hot. Get on the list. I would have voted this in there before if I knew this was eligible. So please don't think of this as the last one voted in to be bumped off for top 5. But yes. Some Like It Hot.
All right.
I have a
I'm gonna
yacht.
go to
I have a yacht.
Luca next. Luca.
I always feel bad ixnaying a Billy Wilder movie.
Whoa.
The Apartment is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It is so good.
Billy Wilder is just fantastic. But no. There are just, this is again the last spot. I'm sorry. There are better movies.
Fine, we'll just throw Lady Killers on there. You're really...
I'm not
2016 Ben Hogan. All right. Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, some people do like a hot take, and mine is
The fuck is up with these puns?
I don't think Some Like It Hot is top 7 best remake. So it's a no for me.
Come to me next. And it's amazing because like this movie came out, I believe, 59, if I'm not mistaken. And I saw this movie the first time when I was 12 years old. And I still found it hilarious. I didn't understand. And I couldn't understand them. I think they're still very funny. One of my favorite movies of all time. It has my absolute favorite Jack Lemmon performance performance. And I am going to go. Yes, Some Like It Hot makes the list, and it rounds out our top 7.
Suck it, chat board.
So before we continue, I want to give us a period to list off some honorable mentions. So I will go first. For me, Little Shop of Horrors one considering throwing out. If we're looking for comedies, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, The Birdcage.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was the one I was going to mention.
Yeah, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, The Birdcage one I wanted to mention. The Judy Garland version of A Star Is Born, which I think is fantastic. True Lies, which is actually based on a French film called La Totale. And finally, I'm going to say, what was it? Martin Scorsese's Cape Fear. So I'm going to go to Zach next. You want to throw out there?
Yes, I was not prepared. Sorry. So Gaslight from the 40s was remade of a movie that wasn't made long before, which is a great drama and also became part of our kind of lingos and idioms that we use on an everyday basis. True Grit, I would have definitely said yes for. Frank and Weenie Love, it's based on a short. That's more of a stretch than anything else. Homeward Bound, by the way, watch it on silent. You'll never have a better experience. Just a bunch of close-ups of animal faces. So Homeward Bound, great remake.
Really?
Yeah, great. Strong silent watch. Just watch a bunch of close-ups of cats and dogs. Maltese Falcon would have been my next choice, but I know Henry does not have great thoughts about that. But yeah, that would have been the one I would place on the list before many of the others.
Hey,
All right.
to my credit, I thought Maltese Falcon would have entered my top 10 before watching it, and I was wrong. So I went in with high hopes.
All right. Malcolm, I'll mention you guys.
So I've got I had Cinderella and 101 Dalmatians on my list. I had Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser. I had Carrie. I had War of the Worlds. I did have King Kong. The Peter Jackson one.
So
I also had Bird on the Orient Express and It on mine. So
yeah,
I'm not sure how many of those actually made those have got to it.
Yeah, thank God you kept those to yourself.
Anything else you want to throw? Anything you want to throw out before we go?
Me?
Luca.
Myself?
Yes.
I'd probably say I thought Invasion of the Body Snatchers was really great with Donald Sutherland. I like Michael Haneke's remake of Funny Games a lot more than the original. I brought up the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair, which I think is a very fun, interesting heist movie. I think Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Which I believe they're remaking again.
I believe so, yeah. I think Bram Stoker's
Dracula is one of the
fun movies I've ever seen, and I really enjoy it. I brought up very briefly A Fistful of Dollars, which is a remake of Yojimbo, and from that I'd want to go on to another Kurosawa film, which, if we're cheating and allowing films that are like adaptations of literary works that have other films that are based on literary works that come before it, I'd also say that Throne of Blood, which is a film based on Macbeth, and there were films based on Macbeth before it, so I probably should have brought it up. Besides that, I also think that Scorsese's Cape Fear is very, very good. I think it's the better of the Scorsese remakes. And Scarface is okay.
Trash. That's a good comedy. Jesus.
Scarface is okay. But like, I wanted it to be brought up so people could see it now.
I love Scarface. Okay, but either way, Henry, any else?
The Evil Dead from 2013 is pretty good.
Oh yeah, that one's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the original stuff. So, Henry.
One that I feel like probably would have made the list and would have at least been brought up if it didn't just come out. Because it's a great movie. I just feel like it's too fresh, so nobody wants to admit that it's a great remake. They don't want to give it credit yet. So I feel like it probably should have at least been brought up and then shot down. I would have been okay with, but the fact it wasn't brought up, I feel like just too new. And this is a stretch, but just because I want to piss everyone off, Batman Begins, remaking the Batman lore and how Nolan went about it. I feel like that would borderline count, but I feel like that would have been a fun discussion to at least talk about it, because based on all the Batmans we had before, it's definitely different. So that's interesting. And it's an origin story, so it was remade technically. So that would have been a curious discussion. So I just wanted to bring that up. Chat room, let me know. What would you have thought of Batman Begins?
In that kind of vein,
for that same reason, I was considering Incredible Hulk as well. So,
oof.
Yeah, Batman Begins would have been a tough one. I think I might be able to get on there, although with this panel, I highly doubt it.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
right,
why.
so
Batman Begins is my favorite of the Nolan Batmans. But actually, speaking of Nolan, Insomnia
It's a
is
reboot.
fantastic.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Insomnia would have been interesting. I want to see a
It's just-
remake
all right,
following.
so
That'll be fun. That would be fun. And don't remake Memento.
That'd be
What the
interesting.
fuck?
well, yeah, they're doing that, and
Actually,
Hollywood, why?
remake following. Don't remake Memento. How about that? Let's swap that.
okay, well,
Remake Dunkirk. Dunkirk's a garbage movie.
no, don't remake it. Just kind of like splice in Darkest Hour, so it's going on at the same time. All right, so
If you're gonna do timeline
Here we
swaps,
go.
you should do it with Darkest Hour.
our top 7 are The Thing, Ocean's 11, 12 Monkeys, Ben-Hur, The Man Who Knew Too Much, The Wizard of Oz,
Goddamn
and
right.
Some Like It Hot. Man, great list. Great list. Here's the hard part. We now have to cut 2 of these. So this works. So the opposite of round 1. We're each going to go around nominating films to kick off the list until we get to a top 5. So since I run the show and I don't want to do it, I'm going to throw it to the least liked person on the panel right now, Luca Fallon. Luca, what should go off the list first?
I didn't know who that was going to be. I swear I was the least liked.
I would
You're
like to
second.
nominate. I would like to nominate every movie on the list that isn't 12 Monkeys, please. No, I'm kidding. I am gonna go ahead and say Ocean's 11. I think is probably the weakest of these movies. I think that Soderbergh has made better movies. I think that there have been better heist remakes. I think it's like a perfectly fun movie, but just like not particularly sort of interesting or vital. And I think you can make a decent argument that all of the other movies on this list are like essential movies. Whereas Ocean's 11, I don't think so much. So I'm going to put forward Ocean's 11 to be removed from the top 5.
All right, I'm going to go to Zach first. Zach next. Zach. Ocean's 11. Does it say or does it go?
What? Yeah, I'm going. Okay, Ocean's 11 would be in my top 5. It would be number 5, and I disagree. I agree with Luca with the fact that it's just not in the essential list that these other ones are, and that's why I didn't vote for things like Jungle Book, because I knew it wasn't in that essential charting that these have. So I agree we should knock it off. Yes.
And Henry.
She gone.
Okay, yeah. Ocean's 11's gone. All right, all right. So Ocean's 11 is the first movie to make it off the top 7, and you know what? Honestly, I'm fine with that. I mean, I love Ocean's 11; it's one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, I'm fine with seeing it go. Malcolm, what would you have said about Ocean's 11?
I would have said that it should stay.
Really?
You also would have voted for
Yeah.
Bedazzled. So
Hey,
Okay.
I
Let's not-
enjoy Bedazzled. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure for me, and I enjoy it. So
Let's not pile it up. Let's go to the second least liked person on this panel, Zach Ford. Zach.
Yes.
We'll kick off the list next.
Forever
I'm not in the
second
top 2
place, I
disliked.
just
That's
can't
it.
win. Second place in everything. This is what I'm used to. Okay, so my choice is Ben-Hur. It's just kind of a old fartsy movie for old fartsy people. I'll like it when I'm 70 and have nothing to do but stare at a 3.5 hour long movie while I fall asleep in and out with. Ben-Hur is my choice to say, yeah, take it off.
All right. First of all, I'd like to address something. Ben-Hur is not an adaptation of the Bible. It's an adaptation of a 19th century novel. Thank you, Jeremy, for pointing that out.
Literary adaptation.
Okay, thank you. Jeremy, you're welcome. We got you. All right. I'm going to go first and seeing Ben-Hur go. I almost said Ben Kirk for a reason. I don't know why. But yeah, Ben-Hur, I'm fine with it. It can go. I'm going to go to Malcolm first. Malcolm, Ben-Hur.
Well, I'm glad to be considered an old fartsy person, so it should stay.
All right, fair. Luca.
Ben-Hur definitely stays. It's one of the greatest action movies of all time, not just biblical epics. It's got some of the best stunt work in all of cinema. And it's probably my favorite Charlton Heston performance all in all. It stays.
Let me just say, if Charlton Heston in this movie said, "Damn you all to hell," I would have said stays, no question.
You're welcome for that.
Henry.
It's
Henry,
funny that
you are. Yes.
it's funny that Luca says it definitely stays because I'm the deciding vote, and it definitely goes. Boom. Boom.
All right.
Boom.
Well,
It's gonna
that's-
fly
And
off the
somebody-
list.
Jeremy is
Henry
crying in the
Relish
comments.
is crying in the comments and probably in other places. All right, so as because Henry likes crushing dreams, our top 5 is The Thing, The Man Who Knew Too Much, The Wizard of Oz, and Some Like It Hot.
I want to point out. I just want to take a quick moment to say that someone in the chat mentioned the Ghost in the Shell movie, and unless they were
Nope.
being sarcastic,
I thought that was.
please ban them.
I don't know who's that Ghost in the Shell, but that
Michael
movie
Campbell
was.
has said a couple questionable choices in there, so I think people just started
Michael
not.
Campbell. If it's Michael Campbell, I know he's so. We now come to the rankings portion of the show. What we're each going to do is we're going to write down on a spot on the list is going to be up for voting, and we're going to write down on our whiteboard or paper, whatever we have on hand, what movie we believe deserves to go in that spot. So we're going to go 5, 4, 3, and then we're going to vote on number 1. So, gentlemen, if you will all please kindly write down what film you believe deserves to go in the number 5 spot.
This is one of those times where it's either going to be all 5 of us say the same thing or all 5 of us say something different. I can't imagine it's in between.
I don't think I'm going
If
to
all 5 of us say something different, I'm nothing prepared. I don't know what to do.
We have to do a second choice and then add up the total. Your second.
Yeah, okay. All right, there we go. Thank you, Zach. Zach just pioneered the show. All right. Everyone's ready. I'm going to go first. I said 12 Monkeys. All right, I'm going to go to
Can you
Zach
get fired
next.
on
Zach?
your own show? What the
I
fuck?
said
12 months.
I said The Thing.
I think I was right. This is going to be all 5 different.
Malcolm.
I also said The Thing.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Holy crikeys.
Luca.
I have got The Man Who Knew Too Much.
And Henry.
Just because I didn't know that this was a remake until now and I did some decent research, I went Some Like It Hot.
Shit. Okay, well, either way, 2 votes. That's the number 5 spot.
Guys, don't read the comments from now on. Timestamp it. Don't read the comments. We are going to get shit on.
Yeah. All right, so now right
I
now
was
we're
going
just
to say,
going to
we
number
decided
4.
Something Like It Hot is past the technicalities. Now you're just ranking the movies.
Well, I was being logistics. I was like, well, if I didn't think I can't rank it too high. I was happy it's on the 5.
Oh wait, hold on a second.
Well, number 4 movie, guys. Number 4. Already have our answers set. And I'm gonna have Henry go first. Henry.
So as Robert would know, gotta stick to our stick to our morals. If I wrote something down, that means I'm gonna mix it up this time because fuck that. The Man Who Knew Too Much.
Holy shit! I full vote of 5. Someone has changed their vote. Okay, Luca.
It's the movie I enjoyed too little.
All right, Malcolm.
I put 12 Monkeys.
Zach.
Mr. Ford, aka The Man Who Knew Too Much.
I also had 12 Monkeys, so Man Who Knew Too Much gets the number 4 spot. Now, write down the number 3 movie.
This one's actually tough.
It's a great list.
Wait, actually,
For me,
no.
it's not. All right, looks like we're all about ready. I'm going to go first. Once again, 12 Monkeys, sticking to my guns. All right. Zach.
Oh, I didn't get to finish my drawing of 12 Monkeys.
You're actually going to draw 12 Monkeys?
Yeah, it's going to take a while. It's okay.
Yeah, you're going to slow down the show. I would give you time, but Might as well down the show. Malcolm.
12 Monkeys.
All right, so that settles it. But Luca, what did you say, just in case?
I can't believe that the top 2 of this list is going to be things that are only questionably remakes. I've written some like it hot.
They're both ones I picked. You're welcome.
Henry. Yep, so I'm like it hot. All right. Now we vote on the number 1 movie on the list.
If all 5 of us don't have the same one, I'm never coming back. So sabotage it if you want, but if all 5 of us don't have the same one, based on these 2,
we're gonna hold you to this.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to that. If even one person says something different from you, you don't get to come back.
But
All
as
right.
long as it's not malicious, don't write it down to be a cockface. Mean it.
Fine, whatever.
Genuinely mean it.
Henry.
Number 1, based on these 2, The Wizard of Oz.
Okay. Luca.
Again, I think it's questionable, but it is maybe the greatest movie of all time, The Wizard of Oz.
Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, just like Luca, it's questionable, but I'm saying Wizard of Oz.
Ford.
Thanks for giving me enough time to draw my picture. Wizard of Oz. There's the gang.
What the hell? Okay.
Very realistic, guys.
All right.
So now we're just gonna know. Does Chance ever want me back?
Yeah, I'm about to find out if I said differently. Both of these, look, what lack of a better word, they are legitimate. And because I hate Henry so much, The Wizard of Oz gets number 1, and Henry gets to come back to the show.
Yes, you know nothing, Jon Snow, with these bastard picks.
All right, so recap of our list. Number 5, The Thing. Number 4, The Man Who Knew Too Much. Number 3, 12 Monkeys. Number 2, Some Like It Hot. And the number 1 best remake of all time, The Wizard of Oz. I can hear the comments like, like those shouldn't count as remakes, but they'll count it for our list.
I just want to state, what we're basing our remakes is just what we're familiar with the older movie, and that's not, if it has a movie that has the same story as a remake. Both these movies had movies that they based their story. They're in the same property, they're remakes, just because they're not familiar.
Nobody argued
with
LA
the
Takedown
original.
in the comments, so
I'm taking down the comments because they're being a bunch of whiny assholes.
Yeah. And I mean, to add on to that point, is like everyone determines like remakes differently. Is like because we had the big discussion about the literary adaptations in the chat for this, and
we did.
And it's like it's just the definition of remake. There's nothing completely set in stone about what movies are a remake and what's not. It's like because I mean I was actually technically a remake. So,
I mean, that's fair. Like, I count The Thing, and The Thing is like technically a sequel.
Yeah.
I
was going to say Nazario said if he takes a video of himself in the toilet, is that count as a remake of Lethal Weapon? And the answer is no, because Lethal Weapon is not about a man on the toilet. Sorry.
All right, first of all, and let me just say, it's semantics and crap like this. This is why I will never do top 5 reboots, because that is way too hard to define. But either way, I'm going to close out the show right now. From me, from my panelists, of course, G-Wig's biggest fan, because he called her G-Wig, Zach Ford, Malcolm Lay, Luca, and of course, Henry Confidential. I've been your host, Chance Ellison. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.